My name is Will Joiner. I'm a professor at UC Davis. I'm in the departments of neurobiology, physiology, and behavior, also in the departments of neurology and physical medicine and rehabilitation at the med school at UC Davis. In my role, I mainly teach and do research. I also do research through the biomedical engineering program and also through the neuroscience program at UC Davis. So a lot of what we study is sensory motor integration and motor control, and that takes on different forms. Work with a lot of patients, a number of healthy individuals, and basically trying to understand how the brain integrates sensory information to basically guide movements and guide perception. My field of research, or at least the things that I study, I talked about sensory motor integration, and we study this in different ways, or at least I've studied this in different ways. So I've studied this at the level of neurons, like recordings from behaving monkeys. I've studied this in terms of behavior. I've studied this in terms of patient populations. So I have a lot of different ways that I've kind of gone about that research kind of area. The experiences I can point to, and I'm trying to think about them in chronological order, but when I was in undergraduate, kind of the classes I took, the kind of things that we studied, there was an illusion, which I'm blanking on now, but basically if you run hot and cold water across your hand, you will get the sense that it's very, very hot. And it's just like this misalignment of like our senses and like how that can basically be, that can influence our perception is like, wow, that's really cool. Even though the water itself was not very hot or very cold, but this combination of both, your brain can't really make sense of it. And it's really a very striking illusion. So that was one instance in undergraduate. The other experience that I had that was just very profound was when I did my first experiments with behaving monkeys, and I heard neurons firing for the first time, and how they changed their firing based on the visual stimuli on the screen, and that was profound. Just like, oh wow, this monkey is being modulated by what we're showing it. And I know it sounds trivial, but like to hear it and to see it was just I'll never forget that, hearing it for the first time. That was amazing. What we're working on in my lab is the collaboration with Shriners Hospital in Sacramento. So I should definitely make sure that I point out it's in collaboration with a number of folks. So there's physicians and scientists at Shriners Hospital, Dr. Michelle James and Dr. Anita Bagley that we work with, and at UC Davis in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, there's John Schofield that I also closely work with. So this collaboration has been going on for, I think we are probably in our 5th or 6th year. And what we are doing is studying children that are born with a limb difference. So these are children that have a congenital limb difference. One arm has been developed quite normally, and one arm is basically missing a hand. And the research that we're doing is basically trying to understand what kind of control, what ability do these kids have to control the residual muscles, the muscles in the affected limb, and how does that basically mimic or at least match or correspond to their unaffected limb, so the one that is developed normally. The reason why that's important is because these kids have been thought to not have a lot of control over their affected limb, and the prosthetics that are available to them are quite limited. So for the translational aspect, or at least the ability to help kids, if we can understand how they control those muscles better, we can build better prosthetics. From a neuroscience point of view, it's kind of a fundamental question, or just like, well, if you don't have the sensory information, if you've never basically used a hand, do you still have the ability to control a hand? Do you know what a grasp means in the affected limb? Do you know what a pinch or a point movement means if you've never had a hand basically to operate? And what we found is that studying a vast number of kids, so we've studied 50 kids over 5 Shriners hospitals. So our grad students go to these hospitals and they test the kids there and they come back. We've found that they have a remarkable ability to control the residual muscles, to control the muscles of the affected limb. And the prosthetics we can design for them should be more complex, should be more sophisticated because of this ability. So we're very excited about building off that foundation to now go into like, can we build better prosthetics? Can we basically train kids to use these muscles in a more effective way? Can we basically improve their lives through the science that we've done?